Morning. Good morning.
What's up, Coach?
Nothing. How you doing?
I'm great.
Good.
Coach, as you went back and looked at the film against the Heat, what kind of stood out to you on your rewatch?
I thought there was a lot of good. You go back and you give Miami a ton of credit for one, how hard they play, how much they mix up the defense, the physicality. I think our guys handled it well. Their ability to stay poised in moments. We were able to get out in transition, which we've talked about, being able to play faster, the quicker decisions, us sharing the basketball. I think those were all positives from our game.
Talk about kind of playing faster. I think it was the second highest possession game of the league so far.
Yeah.
Just what's the challenge of kind of learning to play with a lot more possessions and maybe maybe adjusting recalibrating what is a successful scoring output or what's good defense when you're playing that fast?
That's a great question. And what I'll say to that is, we base it on the things that we measure, our process. That's why you'll keep hearing me talk about our process, our process. You don't want to always rank it towards what the league is saying versus what we're doing. And a lot of things that we did, to your point, there was a lot of positives in what we did. The possible times that we touched the paint, how many times we attempted to crash the glass, our transition points. Those numbers are things that we'll continue to look at. So that's how we can evaluate it from our side.
Jamal, you've talked about in the past, you as a team talk about a lot of different things going on. I'm sure you saw the news yesterday, but what is your perspective on that? And is that something you talk about with the guys as just something that's going on?
Yeah, every team in the NBA goes through the protocols of what's coming your way. The gambling, the tipping, the betting, we all get the notes. Every team does it. I've talked to our team about it once again today, of understanding the scenario and what's happening. And they know, and you know, exactly what I know, what's only going on in the news right now. And that's all we can give them.
What was your reaction, though, when you see the Magic mentioned in a DOJ indictment document, for a game that you coached in and have trust in?
Yeah, you look at it and you say, whoa, right, as one part, but the other part is that I think a lot of teams will be mentioned because of the way that things are going on, and this is what the nature of the league has gone to with the gambling and the betting, but there's also the education that everybody needs to be a part of to know what's going on and how it's happening, and it's not going away. And so our ability to be educated in what's happening is the biggest thing, and to be aware of the surroundings and who you put, who you're in contact with. I think those are always important pieces for each one of us to understand.
How confident are you in the integrity of every game, of every player that steps on the court, your players' opponents?
This league has done a tremendous job of giving that line of education to each one of us, and making sure that our coaches hit home on the guys and what needs to be done. And I think this league will continue to do a great job of making sure that's a high priority. And that's what I think is so important for us to move forward.
As coaches, you guys are kind of spokespeople for the league. People who might not be as embedded in the NBA, they might have a bad opinion now.
Right.
What's kind of your response to that? What do you think about maybe outside opinion? When they see these things spread over the news that.
I think it's very important just to continue to gather information, to understand what's happening and how it's going on. And us being the spokespeople of what's happening is that you're encouraging people to get the education behind it and not just go for the quick hit, to understand exactly what teams are trying to do, the way the league is trying to educate all of us and how it's happening, because the sports betting and the gambling, it's not going anywhere because of the way we are as a league. And I think it's important that we just continue to keep our information pure and educate everyone on how it's happening and what's going on.
Coach, as you turn your attention to the Hawks, what are some of the strengths they possess, and what will your group be looking to do tonight?
Well, the number one focus obviously is Trae Young and what he's capable of doing on any given night, where we pick him up on the floor, how we mix the defenses up. They're a team that wants to get out and run, so our transition defense will be tested again. Jalen Johnson, for them being back in the lineup, after coming off of injury, is going to be a key ingredient for them. And they're a very aggressive team that looks to attack. We've got to make sure that we get back in transition. We talk our matchups and know our coverages when we're seeing multiple pick and rolls.
We talked a lot about the faith that you have in this team's bench group. It's been one of the strengths for this team over the last few years. How important was the play of that kind of second unit, that second group in the game on Wednesday, and how do you keep building?
I think you keep asking him for that. You show the positive of what they've done and how they responded to what we needed, and it's gonna be the same thing each and every night. But it will be a different person on any given night, and I think that's what this group understands. When your number's called upon, that you're ready to go.
What has Mo been able to do recently? Just where is he in his timeline? Obviously, further behind than Jalen, but just where do things stand?
Mo right now is just still doing the non-contact work. Continue to strengthen his body. But he's, his spirits are still great. You can see him on the bench throughout our games, continuing to coach, using his voice, using his encouragement. But for his body-wise, it's just still continue with the non-contact work.
What has stood out to you about Tristan's performance the other night?
I really do believe it's just his confidence. He has that swagger about him, and I think it goes back to what we've asked for of him, what his coaches have been talking to him about. His performance, this year overseas, I thought was great, and that just continuing to build that confidence and swagger as he plays.
You mentioned the confidence for him. Do you feel like this higher pace offense fits to his style a little bit better, the move and shoot, and being able to move off the ball?
The great part about Tristan is that he knows how to play either style of game. Whether we slow it down, he knows when to make the right cuts, when to play off the ball, when to move it, when to space the floor the right way. But part of this is that's how they played with the national team. And so he's used to the pace of play, when the shots are coming, how and where he's supposed to be on the floor.
Now for Trae Young, obviously you guys have one of the greatest defensive backcourts in the league. Are you planning on sending a lot of props on him, or what's some of the game plans for Trae Young tonight?
It'd probably be smart that I don't give you the game plan, but I'm glad you tried to ask that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Tristan, as you guys went back and looked at the film of your game against the Heat, what are some of the things that stood out to you?
I feel like it showed a good character of the group. Sticking with it, playing fast. I feel like there's still a little bit of a playing style that everybody's getting used to. But I feel like we did a great job executing that, and now we just gotta kind of put two playing styles together, which is the defensive identity that we've been having these last couple of years, and still being able to play fast and do it over a long period of time.
How much does kind of a character win like that, where you have to kind of figure it out and you can gut out a win at the end, how much does that build confidence in that new playing style, and that okay, we keep working at this, it's going to work. We have it in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's obviously still a lot of things that we look at that we can work on and that we can improve, but I feel like a win is always a good feeling, any way, shape, or form. So definitely builds a little bit of momentum and a feel-good spirit within the group, and trusting in the system that we have.
What stood out to you about your performance from the other night, maybe when you look back at it?
Just doing a good job, being aggressive, taking on the role of being somebody that makes plays and is willing to make plays and play through mistakes as well, and taking shots when they're open, driving the ball when I can, and being rock solid defensively.
How difficult is it taking the open shot sometimes? Like, you want to make the extra pass, but you also want to find the right shot. What is that balance like?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the right play is the right play. So I feel like everybody in this group is trusting in each other, and wants everybody to make the right decisions, and that's what we're continuously working on. So there's always the one decision that's obvious, and most of the time that's the right one to make.
This team has always prided itself on its depth and its bench scoring. When about the time you came in the game, Miami had pulled away a little bit in the first quarter. How important is it to have the reliability of that group and the group that you play with to be able to make up those deficits and be able to kind of stabilize things?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to be one of the deepest teams in the league, so we have the talent, we have the players for it, so just got to make sure that we stay solid and there's no drop off once we get into rotations and once we get into substitutions, and that's also part of my responsibility coming in from the bench, just as much as everybody else's.
What challenges? Big shots late yesterday. At the end of the third quarter, gave us the lead, or gave the Magic the lead, and then in the fourth quarter cut it from 7 to 4. Those high pressure shots, where does that confidence come from to allow you to hit those shots and make those big impact plays?
Just reps. being confident in oneself and just knowing that you've been in the gym and been working on your game. And once again, those are the right plays to make. And being out there and being aggressive is the best thing that I can do for my teammates to help. So I feel like I did a pretty good job of that the other night.
You had a lot of good off-ball movement as well, and hitting a lot of shots coming off of like side screens and moving off the ball. With the off-season that you had, how much did that help with the confidence for those type of shots?
Yeah, I mean, I don't just work on standstill threes. Obviously, trying to manipulate different shots and make it a little bit harder on me, just so the regular shots feel a little bit easier. And those are all shots that I've worked on and that I've taken before. So it's not like overly crazy. I mean, it feels normal.
Thanks, Tristan.
Thank you.
Appreciate Tristan.
Thank you.
Goga, as you guys went back and looked at the film of your game against the Heat, what were some of the things that stood out to you?
I mean, it was a tough game. Heat made a lot of shots in the first half, so just us like staying together. Keep trusting each other and just figuring out. Like we talked about, it's hard to win an NBA game, and we did that. And we're gonna need to, there's gonna be some days that it's not gonna go our way. We gotta find some way. So we did that. So we just gotta keep building on that and just gotta be better today for sure.
This team's depth has been one of the strengths for the last few years. You guys were able to kind of make that comeback at the end of the first quarter to get back in the game. When you enter the game with that second group or that group, what's kind of the mindset and how much confidence do you have to win those games?
I mean, it's hard, I've started the games and it's hard. Sometimes team comes out, shooting the lights out, and then the second unit has to step up. That's why you're there. When the first unit's not going well, you gotta try and get the game back, and that's what we did. Shout out to other guys. Tristan stepped out huge, and AB, just everybody. Doing little things to help us win the game. And me personally, I just go out there trying to find what the first unit is not doing, what's not working for them, and trying to focus on that and do that stuff, so I can be a little bit better and get some energy into the game, get some flow into the game. So that's what I've been trying, and it worked out last game.
How do you think you've improved as a passer?
Oh, I mean, I've always had it. When I was a kid, I think I was better passer back then. So what you see now is just like sometimes I get into I don't know how to describe. I'm in the either like short pocket, like I get a pocket pass and I see somebody like cutting, like I will always hit them. So like teammates know that. So every time I try to roll, read the defense if they're up to touch, or they're blitzing, like just trying to stay in that pocket and make plays. I mean, I work on it daily, but I've always had that. So you just see just a little bit of my passing.
Goga, you're a guy. Oh, sorry. You're a guy. When you get in the game, you can feel the energy from the crowd. The crowd gets excited. Jalen's one of those guys too.
For sure.
Jalen excite you guys? Like, what impact does Jalen?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, Jalen, like we all know, like even the play he had, he was pressuring up at the half court, and he got the steal and got the layup, and I mean, it gets everybody going, not just crowd, but us too. Like when we see Jalen, setting the tone, pressuring the guards and trying to. He got to do less of diving on the floor and less of that. But when we see that, I mean, it kind of, you don't even realize sometimes, but it forces you to be, a little more aggressive. So he's really the heart of this team. And everything, it's a lot of pressure when you know that, team is kind of looking at you and you get team going. But I think he's, up to it, and like he's a great player. And I think he'll be huge this year.
How much juice did the crowd give you guys? And what do you expect from a Friday night, second home game of the season against a fun opponent?
Yeah, I mean, the crowd was amazing. You could feel that in the arena. I mean, there was a kind of energy shift at the end of the game, and the crowd, kind of lift us up and helped us to get the win. And always, when we play Miami, it's always packed, and also, season opener at home. It was amazing, and we just expect the fans to show up again, because they really help us. I don't know how to describe it. As a basketball player, where you don't really hear it, but like you feel the energy, it boosts you. So we just want them to show up every game, and we're just gonna keep winning games.
Yeah, I mean, just how motivating is it? Because this team's been good at home. Like how motivating is it for you guys as a team to defend your court?
I mean, like I said, fans really help us, and when we see that, we really work hard to win games, and we win games, we feel appreciated, and we feel the love. I mean, it's just, I feel like you got obviously you prepare for every game the same way, but when you play home, a little bit extra edge you get, like you gotta defend your home, So every time we play home, I think it's just a little bit different. So we just gotta stay consistent with it, keep defending home. I mean, if we win every home game, I think we can do that. So we're gonna be in a pretty good place. So let's see how far we go.
We're gonna mark that down, Coach.
Yep, let's do it. Thanks, Coach. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.